Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the snowstorm that will be occurring across the Midwest. This will be occurring Wednesday right before Thanksgiving. And as you know, Wednesday is the most traveled day of the year, basically, even more travel than the Christmas. So this is seriously going to be a big storm. Just the wind watches, the winds are just going to be atrociously powerful. Snow's going to be heavy. Winter storm warnings are issued. High wind watches, high wind warnings. Seriously, these things are going to be just ridiculously strong. So, yeah, guys, consider subscribing to this channel. Consider liking this video. I make these videos all the time, and I make them for you. So, seriously, consider liking this video, as this will get out to more people. And this storm is it's turning out to be one heck of a system. Seriously, potential historic storm for Thanksgiving. So, if we look at Minnesota, let's look at Minnesota, and let's just look at some of the snowfall amounts. Heavy snow Tuesday evening into Wednesday. This is across Minnesota. Generally, across the further southwest you go, it will be a little bit earlier on Tuesday afternoon. Generally, the northwest you go, it will be a little bit later, maybe in the evening or even at night. But notice, look at these snowfall amounts. Seriously, the gradient's tight to the north, but it's not too bad. You can see it's at least 50 miles for 100. Look to the south, however, that is just a brutal gradient. You're going to notice that could be the rain and snow transition. La Crosse seeing 3 inches, Rochester seeing 9, Mauston seeing around less than 1 inch. However, you can see some pockets of up to a foot of snow. Winter storm warnings. There's some winter storm watches up here. They are considering it, basically where the track shifts. If it shifts a little bit to the north, these will become warnings. If it's to the south a little bit, it will be winter weather advisories. But they have, kind of made backed off of that, if you will. They're not sure about that. But notice that they're showing a heavy snow and blowing snow. So earlier I called this a blizzard. Yes, this could be a blizzard, as there already are some blizzard warnings out in Wyoming. So notice that the snow is expected to develop in southwest, south central Minnesota late Tuesday afternoon and spread northeast during the evening. The snow will gradually end late Wednesday morning. So again, this won't be an awfully big, long snowstorm, but holy cow, the snowfall rates are going to be heavy. Risk factor of receiving 6 or more inches of snow, you could see across the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, Mankato, Red Wing, Eau Claire, and Ladysmith, Hayward, Park Falls, Ashland, all those cities. Rhinelander seeing a doozy out of this one. Seriously, this is an older, older graph. This was made at 5:40 today in the morning. You can see they're showing widespread 6 inches across southeastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin. This is a lower end amount, so basically 90% chance of being higher than this. You could see 4 inches. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm trying to click on it, but I can't. Notice you can see 5.4, still a widespread. That's if the system turns out to be, a bust. If it's a boom, then you can notice it could be a foot widespread and well over a foot in northwestern, into northern Wisconsin. So that's, something to take note worth. Let's look at Nebraska, Wyoming. Notice that this is seriously possibly turning out into a blockbuster system for these as well. You're going to notice that the winds are just going to be ridiculous as well, and that's what prompted some blizzard warnings across those areas. You could see, seriously, up to 2 to 3 feet of snow across these locations. So you can see they're basically talking about the snow safety. So really, if you're under a winter storm warning and you're watching this video, continue watching it, finish watching it, and really just look at the National Weather Service, as this thing, seriously could pose a serious threat to you and your family, as this thing will just be, you most likely will be out either gathering groceries, making some meal preparations, or in this case, just traveling to Thanksgiving. Your grandpa's, wherever it may be. Seriously, this is just the worst timing. It's a big storm system. It's really powerful. Thank goodness it's not too widespread with the snowfall, but where it does fall, it's just going to be very heavy. I want to show you the strength of this system. Look, right here, I mean, we're way to the south of this storm. We're seeing high wind watches, which will inevitably turn into high wind warnings. I mean, seriously, this is for my area. We could see gusts up to 60 miles per hour. That's, that's basically a damaging wind gust. We see those gusts in a thunderstorm sometimes. And this will basically mean that tree damage, power outages likely, loose objects and debris blown around. So this is seriously significant. A quiet Thanksgiving. So, if you get through Thanksgiving, you'll be fine. But that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame will just be hideous. I mean, seriously, it's just gonna be one heck of a storm right here down in the panhandle of Texas across these locations. I'm pretty sure, yeah, high wind warning at this point around 70 miles per hour for Amarillo. So this is, yeah, they're getting a doozy. And then notice this is another whole area of warnings and watches for these areas. That is basically gonna be, guess what, another system. So a lot of these locations under this winter weather warnings can get yet another doozy of a storm. So let's look at the GFS models. GFS model, notice it's already slamming the snow across Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah. This quickly moves off into the plains. We're getting quite a bit of strength, and again, the winds are just going to be howling with this. Seriously, they're going to be ridiculously powerful with this storm. We're going to notice that wherever the snowfall, it's not a huge widespread system, but it's tightly packed and it's powerful. And notice 988, 986 with this millibars and pressure, which I'm going to tell you is pretty powerful, hence why the winds are so freaking powerful with this. Blizzard conditions, I wouldn't be surprised if they occur across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and into Iowa. But then that, you can see, moves off pretty quickly, which is a good thing. But then right again, we have another system that could possibly be even stronger, 978 across South Dakota more this time. So that could be just really, really interesting to see what happens with that. But again, either if you're not under the snow, you're going to be impacted by some rain in the south, or again, just extremely powerful winds, which, let me tell you, this will be occurring Wednesday. That is the worst day this could be occurring. If it was Tuesday, yeah, not that bad. If it was Friday, okay, half as bad. But this is Wednesday, not even Thanksgiving. This is Wednesday, so that's when majority of the people are traveling. Let me tell you, O'Hare Airport is the second, if not the first busiest world airport in the U.S. So if the high winds, which they inevitably will be there, they will literally just probably ground it or cancel many flights. So this is basically a disaster in the making, and I'm calling it right now, right here on this video. I mean, seriously, this is not good news for you guys that are traveling and will be, you may be going from Atlanta to Kansas City, and you'd be like, yeah, it's not going to impact me. Well, if there's a flight coming from Chicago to Atlanta and then to Kansas City, you're screwed, let me tell you. So make sure you know what your flight is. If it's anywhere to do with the Chicago and the Midwest, be aware that it's pretty likely it's going to get canceled. Just letting you know. The wind, I mean, I know this Chicago pretty well, and 60 mile per hour wind gusts don't happen even annually, I would say, from a big system like this. So that just not only goes to show you how grave this situation is, but also the strength of the storm. I mean, seriously, this storm will be very powerful. This is the NAM model. Let's time this out. Nebraska, I'm seeing the brunt of the snow by around, this is 21 Tuesday, so that is around 9 o'clock in the evening, -5, so 9 minus 5 is 4. So we see that these conditions really just are at their worst at around the 4 o'clock hour, and we notice that it moves quickly into Minnesota and Iowa, and that really intensifies. But the worst conditions, I would say, are gonna be before midnight across Nebraska and South Dakota, but Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, if you live in Sioux Falls, are really just going to pick up at around the 10 to 11 o'clock at night and continue through about 2 to 3, the worst conditions. But they should relatively quickly move out of the area, around the late or mid-afternoon on Wednesday. But this will be one heck of a storm. You can see right there, powerful winds with this. So let's look at some of that MSLP and 10-meter wind. Let's quickly look at the storm. There will be some strong winds with this, my guys, my dudes. I mean, seriously, I can't emphasize it enough, and I will sound like a broken record, but that's the main story along with the snow. Notice that we start seeing these yellow and orange colors across the land right here. If it's across the lake, that's half as bad, and many people don't live in the lakes. I mean, seriously, no one does. But they travel, you know, some boats, some sailors. Yeah, you'll have issues with this storm, but across more of the land, you could see still knots up to 30 to 20 to 30 miles per hour, and again, that's knots, so the winds are going to be greater with that. And seriously, this storm is just going to be one heck of a system, while we have another one on its heels. So get ready, winter is here. So I could also quickly just show you, run through the GFS snowfall amounts. I'm gonna come on, let's just go to the north central United States, as that's where it will be the worst, really. Let's quickly go to the total snowfall by the GFS. Notice it shows quite a bit. It shows a little bit of kind of a little lull right here. It's not loading, I apologize. It shows a little bit of a lull right here across Minnesota. That most likely will just be really filled in with widespread, I would say, above or at least half a foot to a foot, if not more, across the UP and extreme northern Wisconsin. Let's look at what the NAM is showing. The NAM is a higher resolution model. You can see where they're showing even greater amounts, which I think is more realistic. The storm has just so much to work with, and this is something closer to what the GFS, or not the GFS, what the National Weather Service is calling. We notice 10, 11, 13 widespread, just 9 to 16 inches, I would say, for these locations. So seriously, a doozy of a storm. If we were to look at some of the even higher resolutions model, let's look at the HER model. This one goes out pretty far every 6 hours. And let's see if it encompasses in for at least a little bit areas of Nebraska, because I can't go farther than 33 hours as it doesn't go that far. So I want to see if it, okay, so see, I mean, it's the snowfall amounts are already insane across these locations. And for the most part, the snow would stop here, but it's quickly moving up into Minnesota, but still 8, 9, 11, 8 inches widespread would definitely lead to, a travel mess, a travel disaster and nightmare, quite frankly. So if we were to look at the CMC Canadian model, let's quickly run this through. We're also showing some pretty significant amounts, a little bit of a lull right here across Minnesota, probably having some issues with the rain and precip. If I were to guess this, but again, it has a very similar track, centered to the north. Let's look at the European model. I want to quickly show you the Euro model. That is, you can see right there. And again, anywhere above that green, I think is above 6 inches or so. You can see it's actually showing a little bit less for Nebraska, but more as you go up north. So 8, 9, 9, 10, and then gets into like the double digits, almost foot and a half across the UP. And then if you look at the next 10 days, I mean, things just go crazy. You could see even more snow across these locations, and it's more centered across South Dakota. So we'll see what happens. Things are looking very active, very exciting. So stay tuned.